Good morning, everyone. This is David.
And this is Snoot from the Snoot Group.
And we are here to introduce this very special Best of Light Talk episode. Since I'm drowning in chaos doing a show in LA, instead of recording and editing a new show, we decided to replay our last live show from LDI, just for kicks.
Just for kicks? Give me a break. That's right, morons. If you missed last year, you can now hear what over 100 people regretted attending in Las Vegas. It was like a TED Talk if Ted used ChatGPT for his entire speech.
Hold on, Snoot. I thought it was a great show. We had a wonderful audience, terrific swag, and even some questionable plushies for the winners of our Light Talk Ice Bucket raffle.
Questionable is right. Remember when you borrowed that ice bucket from the Westgate Hotel? Yeah, the hotel called it theft. You can't do that again, David.
Yeah. Can we please just move on before you read me my Miranda rights?
Fine, but be warned, because of your shenanigans, the Las Vegas City Council officially certified the Lumen family as public nuisances. We're basically on the same shit list as disgusting pigeons and Guy Fieri's hair. And the Lumen family, remember, my law firm doesn't take crap from anyone, including our own clients.
Yeah, duly fucking noted, Snoot.
So listen up, bozos. If you want to hear what you're in for at LDI on Sunday, December 7th at 12:30 p.m., take a listen to this episode. And remember, if you have a problem with the Lumen family or me, do yourselves a favor. Don't fuck with us.
Oh my God. Do you see what I have to live with?
Are you still blabbing? Stop talking and go put on that sexy little number from last night.
Light Talk. Lumen Brothers. Light Talk. Light Talk. Light Talk. Lumen Brothers. Light Talk.
Hey, this is Steve in Dallas, Texas. It's Saturday morning, my friends, and you are listening to Light Talk.
Well, this is Stan from Gainesville, Florida, and today we're celebrating our 400th episode with our family and friends at LDI in Las Vegas.
And this is Ann from San Diego, and I am so happy to be reunited with my brothers here at LDI.
This is Brackley from right here in Las Vegas, and you are listening and watching Light Talk.
And this is Zach from Washington, D.C., and it's great to be back in Las Vegas for this annual insanity, otherwise known as Light Talk.
And finally, this is David from the beautiful Belmont Shore neighborhood of Long Beach, California. And if you don't already know, you are listening to Light Talk, and we are the Lumen Brothers.
And sisters!
That's right, Ann. Welcome, everyone, to our annual LDI live broadcast of our show. And this year is a very special show, as not only are we back with our friends here at LDI, but today we are also celebrating our 400th episode of Light Talk. Would you ever imagine 8 years ago that we would be doing this every week for almost 8 years?
No.
Now, right about now, you might be asking yourself, hold it, isn't this episode 401? And it could be, but we've decided to celebrate 400 episodes with you. And so we put 401 into a time warp. So theoretically, yes, this is episode 401, but for you, it's officially episode 400. But who cares? Let's just have a good time.
Unfortunately, one of our sisters could not be here today because she has something else on her plate. She's basically running this crazy convention that we're all at. That's right, our dear sister Ellen Lampert-Grayo is somewhere cruising the floor in her little cart and putting out fires. However, rumor has it that she may just be dropping in later, just like Santa Claus.
So it's great to be here, and I believe this is our 6th time at LDI doing a live show with a live audience, which is always exciting because usually we're kind of isolated.
Okay, so a few ground rules. This is how the insanity works. We ask you to write a question on a note card about the lighting industry, lighting design, or anything else that you may be curious about, like relationship issues, what not to do financially, that goes to Stan. And this also goes to Stan, avoiding the Department of Justice. Then you will drop that question into an ice bucket that we stole from the Marriott Hotel across the street. Snoot and I had to jaywalk across here back and forth to get this ice bucket.
And that very stolen ice bucket is guarded by someone we need to introduce, which is our attorney Snoot, a very important member of the family. She keeps Stan out of prison. You can see her out there in the audience with her red B-52 hairdo.
Snoot has the cards and the ice bucket. For your question, she will give you a free commemorative 400th anniversary Light Talk episode Roscoe R80 ball. You can hang this Light Talk ball on your Christmas tree, Hanukkah bush, or even use it as a parking ball guide in your garage for the Florida residents. Look, if you want some crappy swag, you got to submit a question.
Then we're going to pick the questions out of the bucket and hopefully answer them. So make sure they're good questions. We will be answering 6 of them during the show, and people who are lucky enough to have their questions picked at random will get to come up here and choose one of our stiff, adoptable animals perched right here lying on the front of the table.
These are actual animals from the Light Talk Rehab and Petting Zoo that's located in Stan's backyard in Gainesville, Florida. Some of them escaped during the last hurricane, but they came back. And now you can adopt one of these animals if we choose your question.
But here's the best part. One of these 6 animals has something very special about it that only we know about. At the end of the show, we will announce what is special about that animal. The person who has adopted that particular animal wins the grand prize. And this year, our grand prize is indeed grand.
Yeah, we gave you balls, we gave you stickers, we gave you shot glasses. We've even given you fezzes. But this year, our grand prize is something actually useful that we'll announce at the end of the show.
Oh, by the way, we would like to give a shout out to all our friends from Lunalux. They're here today, and a lot of friends, Drew and everyone else that's been following us for all these years. So thank you very much for being here. Okay, so let's get started. Snoot, could you please bring the stolen ice bucket from the Marriott Hotel up, filled with your questions? Thank you, Snoot. And you get to choose the first question.
All right. Let's see. Gotta get a good look. Oh, this is hard. What's the future of live experiences, AI, immersive, and VR?
Who said identify yourself?
Song. Yay!
Hey, all right.
So does he get an animal?
Oh, yeah, come up here, pick an animal.
Pick an animal.
And choose wisely.
Separate the family.
Yeah, we can't look. It says choose one and grab it and run away. I say that was going to be the first one picked.
Yeah.
That's the one I wanted. That's the one I wanted.
I want the other one. I don't know that I have an answer to this question. Immersive AI and VR. I think it could go anywhere. I think more immersive stuff is happening. That seems to certainly be an interest, at least in the academic world where I've been living. And then there's, Meow Wolf and everything here. So I think that's going to go further. VR, it's one of those things. It's like the technology is still a clunky headset, and I've been doing VR and AR for a while now, but it just isn't getting better. It's kind of like I also do 3D printing, same thing. Like the equipment is still clunky and slow, so I think that needs to improve. I mean, maybe Apple will help us, maybe Google, whatever, for that to be actually enjoyable to sit and watch a show. But yeah, and AI, I feel like it's too early to know. I enjoy AI, to be honest. But where it is in terms of theater, I'm a little scared to think about that one. That's what I got.
Anyone else on the panel would like to address this?
Well, for design AI, I've had my students, when they do their research projects and such, they say they pick how does this house look if Van Gogh did it, and it'll come up 10 seconds later. So as a research project, they come up to very interesting research images for what their shows are. So I think that's a positive thing.
For people who listen to the show, there's a controversy. We've been talking about AI now for about 2 years. And I'm sort of on the other side of that because I feel that AI is going to be extremely disruptive, I believe, in a good way and bad way to our industry. I think that the AI lighting console is a year or two away. And that's going to change the industry quite a bit, and it's going to change our jobs quite a bit. And I've talked to a lot of programmers about this, and some of them like it, some of them don't. And designers too, because, there could be a time when a director says, well, I could light this show easily with AI. So this may happen. So we don't know. There's no crystal ball here.
It's a great question.
Well, I'm less convinced
Good question.
about the AI console as David is. I just can't imagine Verilight investing the resources to do that. And I can't really imagine ETC putting the resources into that. So maybe it's going to come out of Grand MA, but I think it's more than a couple years away.
So I just think it's a little bit dangerous when something really massive hits society like this to speculate too much. So it's a very speculative question. So I kind of want to leave that speculation aside. But what I will say, and I've shared this on the show, I'm starting 4 projects at the moment. And I thought, what could I use it in some way? And in the early phases of a project, there's a lot of writing of proposals in the world where I'm working. And I have all this stuff in my head, and it usually takes me a week to write that stuff out, 40 hours. And I said, well, let me take some old ones, let me feed it to the machine, let me put in my templates, because I have templates, and I feed that into the machine. And then I tell the thing, because I'm feeding the brain, right? I tell the thing about the project, and I say, okay, now write the section on lighting control, write the section on, rigging. And it does it based on what I've taught it, and then I have a back and forth with it until it creates a section that I actually like. And it's actually better than what I would have done. Now, if I was writing something expressive, maybe it wouldn't, because it does sound like AI wrote it a little bit. You can kind of pin it out. But the information's there, and it's there in a more concise way. So I'm starting to figure out how it fits into my workflow, right? So I can do that practical sense. So I think it's going to, if I was to speculate, it's going to become part of our lives. It's not like computer lighting, that'll never happen. Automated lighting in the theater, that'll never happen. I'm not going to go there. It's going to be part of our lives. The question is, buckle up.
Steel, was today's script written by AI?
Well, no, actually, I was thinking Stan's very modest because if you listen to the last episode, he answered a question. And he was very succinct, and the answer was very good. And we said, let's put that into AI and see what they answer. And oddly enough, they gave basically the same answer, but it was nowhere near as good as Stan had crafted it to start with. So I think that's it's neither good nor bad. It's years ago when people said if you know AutoCAD, you'll be a designer. A Parcan is only for rock and roll shows. I think it's going to be a useful tool to us and nothing more.
I will sort of add on to this that one of the places where I'm not sure if it's going to be a useful or helpful tool, but I think we can't stop it from becoming a tool, something that we sort of discovered just yesterday, playing around with an Amazon Echo in the Win, is that I think, much like we've heard now that in a lot of job scenarios, there's no human interaction with your resume. It's like I have to prepare a resume that is for AI to be able to get through the filters.
Yes.
That, our friend Driscoll over here asked Alexa, tell me about this designer and the name. And then some of the stuff was actually eerily accurate and some of it was wildly inaccurate. But I think there are going to be producers and other people in a position of hiring that are going to be relying on things like AI to make a decision on who should be working on their show.
Oh, that's interesting.
It's a baby, and we're all teaching it.
Yeah.
That's what I discovered from my work on these proposals was like, I had to do a proposal that was a little bit, how should we say, delicate, because on this project there's going to be a big firm doing the whole project, and we want to do one little piece of it. And the client said, well, how are you going to distinguish between your scope and their scope? And we're paying you this, and we're paying them that, and they're the charge of the whole thing. And I worked that with the AI, and it came up with some pretty good language that I don't think I could have come up with. And then I sent it on to my client, and they said, that proposal is pretty good. You really clarified that. And I said, I have a confession. I had some help. And they said, we've been thinking about doing that in our firm, but we haven't done it yet. So we're at the edge of how it's going to work. We don't know. I'm supposed to take a smell here and pick something. It smells good.
Why are we smelling it?
We only put the best things in our ice buckets at the
Kind of
hotel.
plastic.
It's a used ice bucket.
Yes, used. It's used. Stan likes this question.
I like this one. It's going to be very succinct. I can answer it in one sentence.
Oh no.
What's your favorite sandwich?
Who wrote that question, please? All right.
I pick up.
Come
Come
on up
pick
and
up an
pick
animal.
up an animal. You're adopting an animal for a good cause here.
ULB.
And what's your name, sir? Christopher. Thank you.
Christopher.
Nice. Hey, man.
Pick one.
Pick one.
Because I get a
Oh,
funny
you
one.
got the duck. Okay. Yeah, I know. All right.
I'm going to answer very simple, very fast. Pastrami on club. That's it.
Well, Stan, you're from Brooklyn, right?
Pastrami on club.
Exactly.
I'll take that, and I'm just going to go one step further and say it has to be from Katz's
from
Delicatessen in New York.
Katz's.
Even better. Even better. Yeah.
I'm going to say the stuffed combo, 119 and 201, and a nice Reuben sandwich.
I'm going to say PB&J, and what's funny is when you interviewed me before I was a Lumen sister, the first question was about PB&J, and I thought I was being hazed.
It worked.
It worked.
Chicken sandwich.
No, my favorite sandwich is BLT. Well done, please. Okay, Zach,
That was
you're
cool.
up.
No discussion on that one. Huh?
No discussion.
Okay.
There's no argument, nothing.
What do you feel the relationship between lighting and video sources will look like in the future, such as output and control?
Good one for you.
Good one for you.
That's a good one. Yeah.
for you.
Who wrote that?
Who's the? Okay.
Who wrote that? Oh my God, Philip wrote it. Okay, Philip, pick an animal, adopt an animal. There you go. Good for you.
Well, I think this is an interesting question because I'm not sure if it was the first LDI that I came to or if it was the second one, but it was when back when Disguise had a different name, and I first met those guys, and they were telling me we're basically going to use video to control everything. We can, and I was there actually with a scenic fabricator who like turned white because he was like, "You're going to use it to control the scenic automation also," and they were like, "Sure, why not? It's all ones and zeros."
Okay.
And I feel like the challenge there is that there's been a lot of really interesting ways that using video as content for lighting we've been empowered to do that, but that at the same time, I think that it's still such a collaborative industry that often, you'll still get a better product with two separate designers, bringing their different
Hands
ideas
down.
together to help tell whatever the story is. And I often say, like, tell the story, and the thing that I say is, like, anything could tell a story. If it's like a car launch, you're still telling a story. It's still theater. Or in some ways I also say it's like it's all a dark ride. Theater is a dark ride, but the seats don't move. That I think that one of the things that I'm hopeful for that I've like strived to find is a way to make more systems be able to easily talk to each other. I think that we are in a place now where I can feed a video content to a lighting system and have it turn that into actual lighting design, whether or not it's going to be better or worse than what a human being might create and then program. But I feel like there's always still that day where we're like, okay, we're going to try to make sure that when we hit the go button, everybody is going to go at the same time and everybody panics. And then luckily a lot of times it works and that's great. But like, how cool would it be if we could just like plug in two systems and then each of them would know, oh, I'm talking to this one and I don't need to set anything or choose any parameters. They just know each other. And then I plug in a lighting fixture and it goes, oh, it's a that. I don't have to tell it that. And I plug in a video screen and it goes, oh, this is this kind of screen. So I think that intercommunication, sort of the way that we see it with like computer peripherals, will hopefully be something that helps make things more universal in that world.
Well, I'm just going back to the AI question. I just bought the paid-for version of ChatGPT, which was pretty inexpensive, $20, so it's cost me $240 a year. I said, that's a business expense now. Okay, fine. but it lets me upload stuff, CAD files, 3D files, all kinds of data. So now I'm filling that brain. So I'm thinking in terms of this question, that's where I think this. I'll go back on my thought about speculating. I will speculate that perhaps at some point we have some kind of artificial intelligence piece that does exactly what Zach is talking about, that is able to manage that for us, but you be able to speak in English to it, because it's a large learning model, tell it what you want, and then it'll say, tell me when you're ready, and I'll give the go command for you, and tell me what you think, and then easily refine it. That would be, I don't think that's too complicated, considering that we can launch a rocket that lands itself between two chopsticks. If we can do that, I think we could do this.
You heard it here first. Right.
So we are now going to take a little 5-minute break. I'm going to ask the voice of Light Talk, Lori Cooper, to come up here. Let's give Lori a hand. She's a professional child psychologist by profession, and she's also a voiceover artist in LA, and she does a lot of our voiceovers for the show, which is fantastic. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to do our Light Talk radio show. And once again, the Light Talk players present Bobby Danger, the lighting guy, starring Bobby Danger, also known as the lighting guy, his 2 assistants, Bucky and Becky, and his one and only true love, stage manager Tracy. And now, Chapter 7, Trouble in Texas.
A cold, bitter wind swept through the town square of Marfa, Texas, sending a solitary tumbleweed drifting past the studio of the Northwest Central Ballet. Bobby Danger sat alone in the empty theater. Bucky and Becky had the day off. The crew had the day off. And after dropping Bobby Danger off, stage manager Tracy decided to take the day off and head to the shooting range. Bobby had come to the theater to do some work ahead of the premiere of Doc's ambitious and somewhat eccentric reinterpretation of the classic holiday favorite, The Nutcracker. Doc's description, his vision, his concept, still rang in his ears.
I have reimagined the Nutcracker as a deeply symbolic exploration of an 11-year-old girl's life, a child lost and bewildered, navigating the harrowing transition to middle school. Behold my opus, a tough nut to crack. An allegorical journey through innocence corrupted by East German punk rock and a dark spiral from weed to cocaine addiction.
Doc had placed brackets around crack. With assistance from the local high school theater program, Bobby managed to pull together a basic yet ambitious inventory of lighting and projection gear, including 180 lusters, 123 Fairlight 2600s, a black track system which would allow for automated tracking of the performers on stage, a disguised media server with 12 barcode projectors, all controlled by 2 linked Grand MAs. As Bobby sat down at the console, ready to make his updates, the words of Bucky and Becky echoed in his mind.
Boss, promise me, don't even look at the console without me.
Bobby, for the love that's all holy, leave the console alone.
Just then, a voice message came from his beloved wife, stage manager Tracy.
Hurry home, baby, and bring a bottle of wine and some chocolates. There's a fire crackling, and I can't wait to see you. Seriously, honey, just stay away from the buttons.
Casting caution aside, Bobby Danger, mild-mannered, fully tenured associate professor by day, transformed once more into the lighting guy and pressed the power on button. 3 hours later, Bobby Danger was in a death match with the mighty console, and he was getting his butt kicked. To make matters worse, Doc, Bucky, and Becky on the way to IHOP had seen the theater lobby lights on and, fearing the worst, entered the auditorium. Doc was the first to speak.
Hold, everyone stop. What's happening to the lights? Why is Black Tracks tracking ghosts in the balcony? And who thought it was a good idea that turned a luster's color into whatever that color is? The color of crap? This is a hard nut to crack. Not some Bertolt Brecht play. Must I cancel opening night?
Around that time, worried that Bobby Danger had not come home from dinner, Bobby Danger Jr., had been sent by Mom to find Dad. Bobby Danger Jr. had just returned home for winter break, fresh off the first semester at one of those prestigious back east lighting design programs. Stepping through the theater door, Junior was greeted by chaos. Becky was in tears. Bucky upending toolkits in a desperate search for a backup thumb drive. And Doc pacing the stage, muttering Yiddish curses under his breath. At the center of it all was Bobby Danger, locked in mortal combat with the console, whispering nonsense to no one in particular. Just then, Junior shouted out,
Dad, what's wrong? Snap out of it, Dad. Can you hear me?
I don't know. I was trying to tweak an effect, and then the cue stack vanished. And then the lights. They went out, then came back on, but different. And then the projections, landscape. Why landscape? And then Black Tracks followed me into the bathroom. My screen's all data lost. It's all gone.
Dad, stop pressing buttons. Dad, your IT department is here. Dad, please, just step away from the console.
Bobby Danger stepped back from the great white whale to consider his options. That was the only opening Junior was waiting for. In a flash, Junior shouted,
Bucky, sort out the console. Becky, reset Black Tracks. I will tackle the video.
Shall I cancel the show?
Shut up, Doc. You're not helping.
And like that, a hard nut to crack was up and running once more, maybe even a little better once Bucky entered Bobby Danger's changes. Junior had saved the day. Doc was the first to speak.
Today we have learned...
Shut
up, Doc.
Bobby looked around the tech table and said,
Thank you all. I am so sorry. Have I disappointed you, Junior?
Of course not, Dad, but please, can you stop calling me Junior? My name is Bobby Lee Danger, your loving daughter.
Bobby Danger, the lighting guy, blinked at his daughter in surprised silence. Then he smiled.
Bobby Lee Danger. Thank you for saving the show and saving me.
As they all left the theater for the night, the warmth of friends, family, and a happy ending filled the house. Bobby Danger took one last look at the stage and with a smile whispered to himself,
Happy holidays, wherever you may be.
Bobby Danger, the lighting guy, folks.
Yeah. Well, there you go. We do this every year here, which is fantastic. So thank you, Steve. Steve writes that, by the way. Give him a hand. It's terrific. So speaking of Steve, you have got the next question.
Yes. What's your favorite lighting fixture and why?
Come on up here and pick an animal. What's your name? Stephanie, thank you for coming to the show today. Choose an animal. There you go. Oh, see, they always go for the iguanas. What is it with the iguanas?
So cute.
Well, I think everybody makes a pretty good fixture these days. I think when you look at price and comparison, you compare apples to apples. Those are pretty good. Don't compare apples to, bananas. But what's my favorite lighting fixture? I live in the great state of Texas, so I want to keep my money in the state of Texas. So right now, the best lighting fixtures are Clay Packy, because they're over in Fort Worth, Verilight, because they're 11 miles from my office, and high-end fixtures. I mean, and if I were in Madison, Wisconsin, then ETC would be my favorite fixture. What do you guys, what's your favorite
Well,
fixture?
my question would be, are we talking the moving lights, or are we talking just conventional fixtures? Because I think it's a different story. Personally, I like ETC only because of the support you get from them. I used to do a lot of consulting on new projects, on new theaters and new schools, and some churches, believe it or not. And I learned the hard way that if you use the wrong company that may have the latest bells and whistles and the biggest, shiny can, that may not be a good choice, because it's not about the fixture or about the controller. The bottom line is about the service and what type of service you're going to get, because when you're 3 hours from opening night and your board crashes, who are you going to call? And how soon are they going to answer the phone? For that reason alone, I like electronic theater controls.
I concur with that in terms of the support that ETC gives, and from way back from the original idea board that we had many years
I
ago.
remember that, yeah.
And but you could call Fred; he'd answer the phone. I mean, it was that kind of company, and company still exists. So, yes, ETC is my favorite.
Third vote for ETC. I don't consider myself a gearhead designer. Like, give me a coffee can, I can design with it, sure. But I really have a thing for color, and I think ETC does that best. And I like to think that I'm sensitive to very unique changes or detailed changes in color, and I feel like they have that in both their fixtures and their control. So for me, that sort of quality as well as the support is really important for me.
Mine is whatever Phil Powers tells me I like. Photon. Mine is the photon.
The photon.
Because in the theater world, a lot of what I deal with is my favorite is whatever's available and meets the budget. So I have to learn to make that my favorite. And but the photon is something I saw at a concert a few months ago, and I got all excited about it. I know it's not appropriate for 99.8% of projects, but I'm just looking for that project where I can put a bunch of them in there.
So I do a lot of picking of fixtures for other people. And so I'm not necessarily the user. So when you say favorite, it's sort of like a nuanced question. So I'm budget, quality, use, reputation, support, all of those features. So I sort of have to look at have a philosophy. So let's just take a high school. So we're doing a high school now from 3, and we're doing something for a Native American tribe. One has a casino, so there's a money train. Okay, so it's not a problem. And they told us the best. We want the best of everything. Okay, but I don't know who's going to be using it. So I have to sort of speculate a little bit, have a sense, but I'm not going to be designing with them. So what's the right thing for them? And then the high school, it depends. If the high school is in the middle of, a small rural state and the budget's small, that's going to be one set of criteria that I'm going to try and balance. Whereas we do a lot of them in Orlando, Orange County has a huge interest in performing arts. So everything's automated. And I can usually put some pretty good stuff in there, and it gets used. So I think the favorite one, if you're going to nail me to say a favorite, I'm going to say this. The one where the client, where I've specified the fixture, doesn't call me up in 3 to 5 years and say, what kind of junk did you give me? So even if the budget is low, I've still got to sort of think about that. Usage, how long, how much abuse, or if the budget is high, not to overdo it. So it's sort of like bowling. You're always adjusting your swing, to get in the right target zone.
Yeah, I think when you're younger and really pursuing your art, a lot of it has to do with the quality of light. Mm-hmm. And then as you get older and you start to think about, repeatability and things like permanent installations, then the quality of light becomes one of the metrics, and also the repairability, replaceability, the how good it is when it lasts. And so it makes it a much more challenging question to answer.
Great. So Brackley has the next question.
What's your favorite Vegas lighting display?
This is for
and
you.
who? Yeah, but who? Come on.
Right out the door. We're looking at it right now.
Pick an animal.
This room.
This room. Oh, yeah. What's your name? JD? Nice to meet you. Thank you for coming to the show. And please take good care of that.
My favorite Vegas lighting display happens to be right over there. It's called the Sphere. And it's been amazing. I drove past it every day on my way to work, so I felt from the ground, the whole building of it, and now it's dazzling when you drive by it. So I've not been inside it yet, but the outside is absolutely stupendous.
Mm-hmm.
Me too. I am mesmerized by the Sphere, and I can see it, so I keep being afraid I'm going to get distracted from here.
You see it right out the door.
Right out the door there.
Yeah, but literally when I came to the Marriott yesterday, because last year I had a window that faced the Sphere, and this year I said, can I have another window that faces the Sphere? And they were like, sure. So I get to the room, and this is the most ridiculous thing I think I've ever done. I've never done it before. I rearranged the furniture so that I could see the Sphere. Literally, because I knew I had a project I had to work on for like 12 hours that day when I got here. And I thought, I'm not going to stare at this wall. I'm going to stare at the sphere. So I moved the couch, I moved the desk, I moved all the lights, I moved everything. So I'm sure they hate me. But for me, it's worth it to stare at that sphere.
Well, we've beat the spear to death. I think it's hard not to like a major show that's being done at one of the casinos. I think they have money, and they bring in really talented artists, whether it's scenery, lighting, costume, or projection, and you see some fantastic work being done, and work that's not limited by budget. So I think you can't go wrong seeing a major casino show.
Agreed.
And my favorite show is still Ka. I like that show a lot.
I like O's might have been my favorite.
Caught for me.
Well, I think once long ago on the show, we discovered that Stan's father and my grandfather may have worked together at a photo lab, but after my grandfather sold the photo lab, he actually came out here and bought a casino in 1968, the Bonanza. And so one of the things that has always been like such a charming and romantic and unique thing for me here is the like old school neon marquees. And like,
Have you been to the Neon Museum?
It's amazing.
going there this evening.
Yeah, it's so awesome.
But part of that is like those things I feel like are so unique to Las Vegas that I just love seeing that, the way people come up with creative ways to create animation using the neon and just the shapes and the colors, and it's just quality that you just can't simulate any other way.
Yep.
So I love the neon.
I get to sum up this one. This is hard. As you were all speaking, I was thinking there are so many wonderful things to see here from a lighting perspective. It's a lighting tent. Brackley sees it all the time. He lives here.
I go down this trip every night.
So, Steve's point about all the shows, Zach's point about things that are unique. So I don't know how to answer this. And there's so much I would like to see more of, to sort of have an opinion on. But one thing that popped into my head, I like subtlety. And a lot of Vegas, for me, a lot of it is sensory overload, which when I was young, I loved. And now I can't take it. It almost wants to give me a grand mal seizure sometimes. So I think we take that stuff and sometimes we push it too far. So, but I remember going to the atrium. Isn't it in the Bellagio, Brackley?
They change it every.
Glass?
They change it every season.
With all the glass?
Yeah, it's a glass, and it's all flowers, right?
Yeah.
It's all gardens.
The
And then there's
Chihuly exhibit.
yeah, the Chihuly, right? Yeah, right.
Right in the lobby.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
there's Chihuly in the lobby, and then there's this room you go into, and it's like a greenhouse. And maybe it's because I grew up growing plants. I worked at a botanical gardens when I was a kid. It reminds me of that. But they change the season. There's a Christmas one, there's a spring one, there's a winter one, and then the lighting changes accordingly. And there's such a subtlety to the beauty and the range of color that it's not about this. It's the antithesis of the sphere in a lot of ways. And I always loved just the calmness in the envelope that is Las Vegas, which is frenetic. Here's this calm space. There's water elements, and I just thought that I don't know who lights it. I have no idea who the artist is or if they rotate people in. But there's something about that subtlety in the midst of all this frenetic energy.
There's another one. I think, is tonight Battle of the Busk?
Yes.
If you've never seen that, you should go see that tonight.
That's
That's what,
fantastic.
a handful of students. Luther puts them on consoles they know nothing about. So if you were an expert on Grand MA, he puts you on a hog. The video content, they busk 15 minutes live of something they've never heard or seen. That's probably the best show in town tonight.
Yeah, it's right on the show floor.
Yeah, it's all music we know, right?
All right, so last night, Lori and I went to see Mystere. And for a lot of you know that's a new design, actually. They completely retrofitted it. And it was one of the most beautiful shows I've ever seen in my life. We had great seats. We were second row center. It was unbelievable because you could see the expressions on these amazing artists' faces. And any Cirque show to me is the best lighting in Vegas because the standard is so high, and it is about theater. And for those who haven't seen this, there's a terrific documentary that came out about 10 years ago, and I showed all my students this documentary. It's called Making Love. That's about love and the whole process of putting love up. They interview all the designers, prop designers, lighting designers, everybody. And just everything that comes out of that company theatrically, right, is just unbelievably high class. I love Sphere too, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But
There's many things.
last night, again, was just one of those nights that inspired me because everything about that, the music, the lighting, the incredible athleticism, and the characters that these performers put on stage. So, yeah.
Yeah, and
that's it.
unfortunately, Love closed in last fall, so that's gone. The whole hotel's going to be gone, so
Okay.
it's unfortunate.
Okay, so you know what? We've got one animal left, which means that there's one question left. All right. Who thought a podcast was a good idea?
Who thought it wasn't a good idea?
Who asked this question?
Jimmy.
Well, can somebody
Oh,
make it a
no.
representative?
Driscoll can. Yeah.
Okay.
You promise you're going to give it to him.
On behalf of.
I trust this man. Yeah, by the way, Driscoll is also a Lumen brother.
Yes.
All right, so and we wish you could have been able to been on the panel today too, Driscoll. Okay, about 8 years ago, well, actually a little more than that, Stan, Steve, and I met each other. We were recruiting graduate students for ERDA in Chicago, and we became really good friends. And it was funny because Steve was from Dallas, Stan's from Gainesville, I'm from LA, all three completely different schools. I used to teach at SMU, where Steve teaches now, so I knew a lot about SMU, but I didn't know Steve very well, and I didn't know Stan at all. And the three of us would go out drinking, right?
Yeah.
For a
Then we
friendly
go to the,
cocktail. Yeah, right at the top of
whatever
the,
that was, the tower
which, by the
there.
way, you can't get up to anymore. Was it the Sears Tower? What
The
was it?
Hancock.
No, Hancock.
The Hancock Tower, right. So we'd start calling each other for lighting advice. And Stan one day called and said, you know, I've got this money and this new light came out by ETC. It's called, what was it, Solar Theater, right? Was that?
Yeah, I was thinking about
Yeah.
the Solar Theater
Yeah.
because we had problems with noisy moving lights at
Yeah,
the
right.
university, and so I heard about these fixtures, and I called David. We're on the phone, and David said, you know, I think Steve has some, and so I said, let me conference Steve in. So we had a three-way conference call, and I was asking for advice, but at the same time, they were cracking me up. They were making jokes, and Steve was saying, "Well, just buy 50 of them, or whatever it was," and it became entertaining, the conversation.
Yeah. And we did this regularly.
What's that?
And we did this regularly. The three of us would talk to each other. And one day we were talking, and I said, you know, we got to figure out a way to make this a regular thing because we live in opposite parts of the country. I said, how can we schedule a weekly thing?
Yeah, we'll just have tea on Sunday
Right.
morning and talk about lighting.
Right. So at the time, I was being interviewed by a podcast from, I think, Central City Opera. And I talked to the podcaster, and I asked her, I said, how difficult is it to do this? And she goes, are you kidding me? It's really easy to do this. You just need the right software, and you just get a company that hosts the podcast, no problem. And I said, why don't we do a podcast every week? That way we know every Saturday or Thursday, whatever day it was, we would talk for an hour at least. So we did. I found the software. We got the software, and we.
I think we used something called Big Blue Button.
Yeah, it was Big
which
Blue Button.
the
that's
University
right.
of Florida had. I had
That's
access to
right.
that. It was terrible, actually.
It was pretty bad.
It was pretty bad.
So we
Listen to
said.
the
So I
first
think
episode.
I don't know if Stan said it or Steve said it, but said, who's going to listen to us really? And we said, and I said something like, well, we can assign it to our students to listen. So that guarantees about 24 people, right? So we know we'll have 24 people listen to our podcast.
David said, make a logo. David said to me, can you make a logo by next week? And I went to Adobe, and I found that 3-microphone logo. We still don't pay any
Yeah,
any
we got a
dues for that.
logo. That's the logo up there, which has changed, by the way.
Logo.
The sisters decided that they had enough of those brothers stuff. So the first week, we assigned it to our students. So we had, I don't know, maybe a dozen downloads, right? And I said, well, why don't we just start promoting this on Facebook? What the hell, right? And the next week after that, we had 24 downloads.
Our friends were listening.
Yeah, then friends would listen, and then I said, okay, let's find some groups, and and then the following week it was 50, and then we started noticing that people from other countries started listening to us. We have no idea how this happened, and then it just exponentially grew and grew and grew, and now we have close to 500,000 downloads, and we're over 130 countries and territories, even places as bizarre as the Faroe Islands. There are lighting designers in the Faroe Islands. I think there are three of
It's
them.
much more enjoyable if you don't understand English.
That's right. Absolutely. We started to open it up to other brothers and sisters, and
How did you come up with the format?
the format, it was just how we came up with the format.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm a huge fan of Car Talk. Okay, and Car Talk, for the people who are a little younger in this audience, used to be the most popular radio talk show, comedy talk show. It was on NPR. Those guys had like 2,000, 3,000 episodes. It's unbelievable how many people they reach. But it was basically these two mechanics that both graduated from MIT. So they're really smart, but they're really funny. They're Bostonites, and they've got Boston accents, and they're really funny. So he said, hey, we crack each other up. Maybe other people who are insane as we are would enjoy our show. And sure enough, this show's been going on and growing. So that's how this happened. It was I don't know if it's a good idea, but it's kept us busy.
For 8 years, it's kept us.
For 8 years, it's kept us busy. So,
Bruce Springsteen would not let us use Blinded by the
Oh,
Light.
yeah.
That's right. We started with that. We did.
Right.
Yeah, we started with Blinded by the Light by Bruce Springsteen as our theme, because we weren't worried. Who was
was listening to us?
A dozen listeners, right? And then our legal advice told us that, you better change that. So I wrote the theme song one day, and then I got everybody to sing on it. And it was just, we just had a lot of fun. And Ellen joined us a couple years ago, and Driscoll has been on the show a lot, and Zach and everybody. And we sort of expanded to this crazy thing where we have a voiceover artist. It's awesome. We just have a lot of fun with it. So is it a good idea? We think so, because, and I'm stealing Stan's. Go ahead, Stan.
I want to answer the question succinctly and directly.
Yeah, go for it.
Because the question says,
There's the
who
challenge.
thought having a podcast was a good idea? You did, because we really didn't. In entrepreneurship, I've learned one thing. You never know if an idea is good or bad. You just don't. I tried UF at LDI, that failed. I tried a bunch of things that failed, but you never know when something's going to succeed. We didn't know that there was a space for the lighting community to come together and have a good time and educate themselves. So we didn't anticipate, and I think everybody would agree, we didn't anticipate the reaction. And that I thought we should have killed it 3 years ago, right? Like Jerry Seinfeld. Okay, no more. We're peaked. But then you guys come and you love on us, and we're like, if we took it away, maybe it would be bad. So now we have to do some other thinking. But I think it's you guys who decided it was a good idea. There was an audience. I had a dean say to me, I'm not writing any books, but I'm doing this podcast, and everything I know is going on in these podcasts. Does that count as publication? And he said, you're ahead of the university. Nobody's ever thought about that. Right, so this is our book, this is our form of publication, but you're the guys who decided that it was a good idea, because if you didn't come, we'd all be just talking to each other.
Well, listen
I don't know if you're loving on us, but
I was a little
Well, they
uncomfortable
showed
there
up.
too. Calling HR.
fun
HR.
fact. The theme song.
Straight man.
We interviewed Zach, and we found out he played bass guitar.
That's
so he
true.
put the bass line in. So a lot of times the people we interview, oddly enough, play musical instruments. The only person, and we haven't pursued it enough, but we should again, the only person who has turned us down to record with us is Don Holder. And you may not know this about Don. He plays a tuba.
Whoa.
If you listen to the interview, he'll say, some days at Yale were so hard, I just went back to my apartment and sat in a corner and played my tuba. And
We all laughed.
He was in the marching band at Yale. So we do not have a tuba player on there yet, but we're still holding out hope.
And the thing that got me was the first time we did the LDI show, we'd saw, oh my God, all these people came like you're doing now, and it's been phenomenal. It really has.
Yeah, it really has been. All right, now the moment you have been all waiting for, our grand prize. But first, the brothers and sisters would like to thank Amy Yeager from Roscoe for providing this year's grand prize.
Yay.
And I don't think Amy's here. She's not here today. But thank you, Roscoe.
He's down
and
at the
Amy.
booth.
I guess this is the closest to a corporate sponsor we've ever had. All right? Stan's saying, yes. Okay. So thanks, Amy and Roscoe. And remember, along with the grand prize, the lucky winner will also be a guest host on one of our upcoming weekly Light Talk podcast episodes. So we would now like to ask the listeners whose questions were chosen to please look on the bottom of your sweet animals. The person with the pink heart tattooed on the tummy of your animal is the grand prize winner. Driscoll, come on up here. Come on up here. I know, it's Steve, but if you could give this to him, that'd be wonderful.
Are you going to say what it is?
What it is? What is it?
What it is?
What?
Yeah.
Oh,
Jimmy is a fellow
God.
Roscoe ambassador,
all right.
so
Okay, bonus question. We're running out of time. We have 7 minutes. Oh, this is a good one. How do you inform an actor that he or she has missed the spike mark? 7 times out of the last 10 attempts. That's a good question. Who wrote that question? Okay, come on up. What's your name again? Oh, of course.
Maybe we should answer the question.
Oh,
A longtime friend of Light Talk.
Yes.
what's that?
A long time.
Yes, I know.
But he looks
Mark?
like he can
Thank
afford
you.
a mixed book.
Yes, Mark. Got it. Mark, thank you, Mark. Go ahead, Steve. I think you're up.
You know, you put down a carpet, you say stand there. I have to tell you a true story. Slash came up one night and said, I miss my mark, man. And everybody went, yeah, we know. It's a carpet to stand on. All right, so that ends our 400th episode of Light Talk.
Are we not going to answer that question?
No, I think, you want me to answer it? I did.
He did.
Yeah, sure.
I have an idea.
Oh, tell us.
My trick is that I, work if I can, like not one-on-one with them, but with the stage manager and everything, and we put them on the spike, and then I say, "Oh my God, you look amazing right there," and then they find it.
Or you look 20 years younger when you stand here. That works too.
And it doesn't look good when the shutter cut is halfway on your face.
I just think we could have such better quality entertainment with more realistic length of time if we could just get rid of the actors.
Okay, well, on that definitely ends our 400th episode of Light Talk.
Okay, there we go.
We'll edit that
And
out of the
with
show. We'd like to thank you, our listeners, for putting up with us for over 8 years. Our good friend Bobby Hale never believed that the show would last more than 8 episodes, let alone reach over 500,000 downloads to 130 countries.
Well, when it comes down to it, we do this crazy show to help the next generation of lighting designers and technicians. Our hope is that through creating a library of information and the generosity of our distinguished guests, of which we have many, we will have a record of information for young artists to reach to in the years to come.
And we hope that more of you will join us. You may listen or even be a guest on our show. We welcome all opinions on Light Talk, except mine. If you're interested, just stop by and tell us or email us. Either way, we'd love to talk to you.
So thank all of you for joining us at the Lumen Brothers and Sisters live podcast here at LDI 2024. Well, the rocking sounds of the Luminoids tell us that once again you've spent another morning listening to Light Talk. You can hear our show on just about every podcast site out there. Check out our website at lighttalk.org and be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. And don't forget to subscribe to the podcast. That way you will not miss a second of Light Talk insanity.
No guarantee is offered regarding the accuracy or statements or opinions made on this podcast. However,
If any of yous decide to litigate, the Snoot Group with the legal team of Sparks, Watson, and Beam will defend us until our retirement funds are completely depleted.
Light Talk is written and produced by the Lumen Brothers and Sisters, coming to you today from LDI in Sin City, Las Vegas, Nevada.
And be sure to join us next week when we talk about more lighting shenanigans and serve you a double helping of our casserole of nonsense.
Light Talk, broadcasting questionable Lumen knowledge and humor around the world.
So thank you, LDI, for supporting our insanity for another year, and we will see you all next Saturday morning. Bye-bye from Light Talk.
Bye-bye.